Hi guys, it's May 29th and today's lesson is Chapter 4, Section 2, Negative Exponents. Please watch the extra videos I attached to make your life easier and make sure you understand. So what are negative exponents? Now let's take a look at the examples that I've written down in the little table. 10 to the third is simply 1,000, right? Since exponents represent repeated multiplication. The positive exponent, right? It gives me a big number answer. So 10 to the third is simply 1,000. 10 to the second is 100. 10 to the first is 10. The smaller the exponent, the smaller the answer is, right? So whenever we start having negative exponents, it simply means that the answer is less than 1. So 10 to the negative first, okay, I'm moving a decimal, is 0.1 or 1/10. 10 to the negative second is 1/100. 10 to the negative third is 1/1000. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, please be careful. Think about it. They're simply reciprocal of each other, right? 1/1000, right? 1/1000. And then we'll come back to that in a little bit. So the first thing I would like to talk to you is about zero exponent rule. Zero exponent rule tells you that any number or letter raised to the 0 power equals to 1. Always 1. 1,000,000 raised to the 0 power is always 1. 7 to the 0 power is 1. Example number 2, this expression raised to the 0 power is 1. Now let's take a look at the example number 3. 7m to the 0 power. So 7 times m to 0 raised to the 0 power. Now remember, 0 power belongs to what base? I'm gonna underline that. It belongs to m, base m. So 7 is not connected to a 0 power, so it stays the same, times m to the 0 power is always 1. So 7 times 1 is 7. And that is your final answer. Now, the next set of examples, I'm going to ask you to rewrite your expressions using positive exponent. Now, remember we talked about it. If basically you want the exponent to become positive, you're going to take a reciprocal of it. So, and the exponent will become positive. And we're going to look right here, right? In this example at the top that I listed. So, and then base stays the same, exponent becomes positive, and then you are ready to simplify if needed. Okay, so I'm gonna erase this. Okay, example number 4, 8 to the negative second power. Okay, we're gonna take a reciprocal of it because I want my exponent to be positive. So I wrote it over 1. I'm gonna take a reciprocal, 1 over 8 raised to the second power. Exponent becomes positive, and now I'm simply going to simplify this. 1 over 64 is my final answer. Let's take a look at the example 5. 1/8 raised to the negative third power. Negative 3 is negative, so I have to take a reciprocal of my base. So reciprocal of 1/8 is 8 over 1, and exponent becomes positive. 8 to the third power. 8 to the third power is 512, and that is your final answer. Example 6 is a little bit more complex. Let's pay attention. I have to write everything over 1 to see where I would need to take reciprocals. Okay, which base I'm going to take a reciprocal of. So in my answer, I'm going to write my fraction bar. And here I start. X squared has a positive exponent, so it stays at the top, okay? Y to the negative fifth is negative, so y to the negative fifth, if I take a reciprocal of that, it will be 1 over y to the fifth, right? So y went to the bottom. So I'm going to write that at the bottom, and the exponent will be positive. And z to the negative first, also negative, so it's going to go to the bottom, z to the first power. So my answer is x squared over y to the fifth, z to the first power, and that is written using positive exponents. In my next example, I'm going to again write a fraction bar. Now remember, after looking at each base, you're going to ask yourself, is that base going to the bottom or is it staying at the top in the numerator? Okay, so b to the negative second is negative, so it's going to the bottom, becomes positive. D to the fourth is positive, so it stays at the top. Now let's take a look at the bottom. A to the negative third is negative, so I have to take a reciprocal of it, right? So it's going to go up to the top. A to the third become positive, and C to the second is positive, so it stays where it is, which is the bottom. That is my final answer, you guys. That is my final answer. Okay, please pause me and do these on your own. Okay, so again, fraction bar. 4 stays at the top. X to the negative third goes to the bottom, becomes positive, and Z stays at the top, and that is my final answer. Negative 4/5 raised to this negative second power. Right away, I have to take a reciprocal of the base. Ladies and gentlemen, reciprocal, not the opposite. So negative sign stays. I'm going to take a reciprocal 5/4, and exponent will become positive. I'm simply going to multiply. So it's going to be positive 25/16, or 1 and 9/16. Okay? Okay. Let's see. We have the next example. Now, the next two examples, I'm going to ask you to do the opposite. I'm going to ask you to rewrite using negative exponent. Using negative exponent. Okay. So 1/81. 81 is not doesn't have an exponent. However, ask yourself, is there a number time itself that will be 81? I think so. It's going to be 1/9 squared, right? 9 squared is 81. So therefore, remember, it's repeated. It has to be repeated multiplication. 9 times itself twice. Now, this still has positive exponent, but I need to rewrite it as negative exponent. So I'm going to take a reciprocal of this guy and rewrite my answer as 9 to the negative second power. Example 11 is a decimal. Now, it's not a fraction because I need to take a reciprocal of something, and I can't take a reciprocal of a decimal. So let's rewrite it as a fraction. It's going to be 1/10,000, right? 10,000. Okay. 1 with 4 zeros, right? 1 with 4 zeros is 10,000. And let's ask ourselves, what number times itself will be 10,000? Well, 10 times itself 4 times will be 10,000. So it's going to be 10 to the 4th power. And let's rewrite it as a negative exponent, 10 to the negative 4th. It's simply taking a reciprocal of it. Our last final two examples. Let's evaluate, plug it in. 7 times m is 2, times 2 to the negative third. I'm going to put my fraction bar and decide what goes to the bottom. Oh, it stays at the top. 7 stays at the top. 2 to the negative third goes to the bottom, becomes positive. And then I'm going to simplify that. 7/8, your final answer. And last example, again, I'm doing the same thing. Plug it in. 5 times x is 1, so 1 to the negative 6 over y is negative 8. I'm going to put it inside of the parentheses like Mrs. Boone told me to do so. Negative 8 raised to the negative second power. Okay, fraction bar in the answer. Let's see what goes where. 5 stays at the top. 1 to the negative 6 goes to the bottom and becomes positive. And negative 8 to the negative second goes to the top. Base stays the same. Exponent becomes positive. I'm going to simplify this even further. 5 times 64. 1 to the 6 is 1. And therefore 320 is your final answer. Hopefully that wasn't that bad. Email me if you have any questions. Watch all the videos. Do Khan Academy. And I will see you next week. Have a great day.